Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show tonight. Tonight's guest, we have a special guest. I've been trying to get this lady in the studio for some years now. Finally got her in the show, and we're going to bring on Amelah and allow her to speak about the serious work that she does in the community. The work that she does is outstanding. I commend her for the work that she does, and she's been doing it for as long as I know her. And I bring on Amelah. Hello, my sister. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing very well, alhamdulillah.
Glad to have you on the show. Yeah. I got to tell the audience, I've been trying to get you on the show for some time now, and I finally got you.
You finally got me.
Yeah.
I'm here. Yeah. I guess the Lord has decreed it.
I want to first of all, I want to commend you for the work that you do, and you do some outstanding work. You do needed work in the community.
MashaAllah.
That's a lot of people don't do and won't do, and you do it religiously. You get up out of your bed on Saturday morning, Sunday morning, whatever it is, and you get out in the rain or whatever, and you put the work in, and I commend you for that. You're outstanding.
May it be accepted as a good deed on my behalf.
Yes.
Amen.
So I like for the audience to know what you do and why you do it.
What I do and why I do it.
Yes.
Bismillah. So what I do, which you are addressing at this time, is fighting against food scarcity. I have been doing this for over 25 years. Started with my youngest daughter, just cooking a pot of beans or spaghetti and getting in the car and taking out some bowls and dishing it out as we drove by to people in need. Being Muslim, growing up Muslim, we have 5 pillars, and it's to bear witness that there's only one God and that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the messenger of God. It is to pray. It is to fast, it is to give charity, and it is to make the pilgrimage to Mecca. So as a child, I would always think of charity as feeding people. I didn't have no concept of 2.5% of your income, savings, and that sort of thing. So I would always think feeding people was charity. Whenever I thought charity, I thought feeding people. And I grew up in an era where the reruns were Shirley Temple, and everybody found their parents or their loved ones in the soup kitchen. If you think back, there was always a soup kitchen, and somebody would go, "Papa," and so that was kind of my idea of what charity was supposed to be. I am the second oldest of my mother's 9 children, 7 of which are my father's, and my father was a victim of alcoholism, and it landed him on the streets of Oakland. So the first homeless person I ever fed was my father, and I was about 14, and I don't know where he got the money from, but he had come up with some money. And he went into the market and bought some ground beef and some beans and some tomato paste and the brown chili packet that has all the seasonings in it, and asked me to cook for him. And so I went to my grandmother's house, and I did. I cooked for him. I told her that I was making dinner for us, and I just was surprising her and making dinner. And I cooked, and I jarred up some chili for him, and I took it to him. That happened a couple of times, and then my grandmother, because she was a wise woman, caught me one day putting the chili in the jar. Yeah. And because of their relationship, this is my mother's mother, and there was an estranged relationship between my grandmother and my mother and father. But anyway, she was very hurt because she felt like I was disrespecting her by taking food to my father because of the nature of their relationship. But for me, it was like, what do I do, And so again, that was the beginning of my feeding those in need. And then just being a single mother myself, doing a lot of my parenting, I always felt like I didn't have financial charity to give, but I always had enough to make a pot of beans or make a pot of spaghetti and go out and feed. And that just grew into what I do today.
Really, really, wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. And then you branched out. You feed the homeless.
Feed the homeless. We feed the elderly.
Yes.
So in 1993, along with my mother and my sister, we co-founded a nonprofit organization called Mu'eed. Though I've always done the feeding of the homeless, I didn't really do it under our organization's banner just because I wasn't doing it for that. It was just something that I did. Mm-hmm. We had foster care agency, we had substance abuse programs. We've done many different things under the umbrella of Mu'eed. And I started feeding the hungry because as I grew up, the elders in my community got older. Mm-hmm. And some people would come to me and ask, my father-in-law or my grandmother, or, I know that you feed the homeless. Would you be willing to provide, whenever you cook meals, would you be willing to provide food to their elderly family member? And so I started doing that privately, and I did that for several years, just out of my own kitchen. All of it was out of my kitchen. The feeding the homeless, the feeding of the elders was all out of my kitchen. Mm-hmm. And the more that I fed the elderly, I realized how many elders we had in our community that didn't have halal options, halal meal options, meaning meat that is slaughtered in the Islamic way. Mm-hmm. And surely they had access to Meals on Wheels and that sort of thing, but they could only eat vegetarian or, meatless meals. Mm-hmm. And they just didn't look like I felt a meal should look. And so I would provide. And so there was a couple of elders that I literally started grocery shopping. So whenever I cooked for my family, I cooked for like 3 other people. And I would just deliver to them. And that went on for a few years. And I've always worked with other organizations that fight against food scarcity. So I would always be a volunteer for those organizations. Then when COVID hit, we had been talking about, as an organization, branching out and doing the feeding under the nonprofit organization. And so we started looking for a kitchen. And then COVID hit, and the city of Oakland asked us, those of us who were feeding that were not in licensed kitchen, not to do that anymore. Mm-hmm. Because it wasn't safe. Mm-hmm. And so then I had to come up with a plan to where I could still feed and do it where it would fall under the environmental health department and we would be in compliance. And so I started partnering with restaurants and caterers to provide the meals for the homeless and to provide the meals for the elderly. We did some fundraising. And we got, at different times, we got, a nice piece of change. But after George Floyd, rest in peace, was killed, a lot of people wanted to show that they supported Black-owned businesses, Black-run organizations. And there was some fundraising that was done that gave us a nice piece of change. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so we've been... We still don't have our own commercial kitchen, and we're still looking for that. We're a little bit hesitant in going into something that's going to create a great big overhead, a substantial overhead, because we don't want to put so much money into housing the kitchen, because it's for a nonprofit, it's not for profit. Right. And so if we have a big bill for our overhead as far as housing, then it gives us less money to put forward towards feeding people. Mm-hmm. Also during COVID, we started working with Farms to Family, the produce. They had a produce where the USDA was giving produce to families. And so we hooked up with an organization and we started to distribute to some of the low-income families. boxes of produce that has eggs, milk, fresh greens, fresh fruits.
So what I'm hearing now is that you went from feeding people meals to giving out produce, vegetables, milk, stuff in that fashion, eggs in that fashion. So you give out food, cooked food. Now you're giving out produce where they can make their own soups or whatever if they have a kitchen. So you're doing two things now. Am I hearing?
Yes. We're doing. Yes,
because I mean, what I know, you're doing a whole lot more than that. But we got from phase 1 to phase 2 now. We're going for phase 3, for whatever. But we're gonna go from phase to phase. So you're doing two things now in the past 25 years. So we're going to, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's the influx has been in the last 3.5 years to where we've grown it to, we've taken it to out of Sister Amelah's kitchen, feeding the aunties and the uncles and the homeless, to coming under the umbrella of Mu'eed and really working to be able to increase our capacity to be able to provide hot meals to more. We also provide hot meals to families as well. So we just ended a summer program that lasted 5 weeks. That we partnered with 2 other organizations, and we were able to provide about 200 meals a week to families.
200 meals a week?
To families that they would just come and they'd come to the restaurant, pick up their meals, and go home. You know, just kind of like having a dinner out. And so they'd come, and to no charge to them, they would pick up meals, salmon and rice and salad and barbecue chicken and, you know, chicken kebabs.
Wow. And you as well, during school, when school's about to start or whatever, you give out backpacks. And you give out utensil, you give out backpacks with materials for school.
Yes, we have an annual. We had our 13th annual back to school backpack giveaway this year in July. It was July 30th, I believe it was, right before school started, and that effort is called Humanitarian Day. So Mu'eed, we have coordinated Humanitarian Day in Oakland for 13 years. And Humanitarian Day was founded by an organization called the M Foundation, Intellect, Love, and Mercy, out of Southern California. And I went down there for work one weekend, and I ran into this. I called around to find out what was going on in the community, and they were having this Humanitarian Day on Skid Row. And so, as I said, I've been doing this Feed the Homeless for years here, and I went there and I literally cried because I was just like, this is amazing. And on Skid Row, there was just all of these different organizations that came together to create a day of service for those who were unhoused. And I called some of the people some of my service partners, and I said, this is phenomenal, and we have to do this in Oakland. And I remember the coordinator of the program at the time, when I said that, I said, you know, I really want to do something like this in Oakland. He kind of looked at me like, we're sure you do. You know, as if, you know, we hear that all the time, but most people don't follow through.
Right.
And I came home and I said, you guys, we got to do this. And so we started having Humanitarian Day. Once a year, it's a Ramadan event. And so in the beginning, we were able to do the back to school and the unhoused giveaway in the same month because it all was falling in the time of Ramadan. But as the years go by and Ramadan switches the time of year because it's on the lunar calendar, we had to now have 2 events. So we have the Humanitarian Day unhoused community giveaway, where we give away hygiene kits, we give away food, we give away blankets.
Wait. You give out hygiene kits. You give out what? Huh? What you got? Okay.
Hygiene kits. We've given out hygiene kits. We give out backpacks. We give away hoodies. We give away socks, warmers, the showers in the bag.
Wow.
And so that event happens in Ramadan still. But then we had to shift our back to school giveaway to happen closer to going back to school. And so then we come together again with our volunteers and we give away, we partner with other organizations and we're able to give away backpacks, haircuts sometimes. We always have a carnival. We make it so that with all of our services, we really want people to be able to stand in their human dignity. Part of the Humanitarian Day Coalition's motto is preserve human dignity, you know. And so it's the Coalition to Preserve Human Dignity. And Mu'eed, under all of our work, that's our goal is, so when we do produce distribution, most people, they have people come line up at some place to receive their produce or, you know, the different things. We deliver. So we deliver from Hayward to Crockett.
Yeah, you deliver. I can witness that. That you have a van. Well, you have a what is it, a van?
Yes.
You have a van and you load it up. I mean, from top to bottom, and you deliver all day.
Yes, we do. We spend the day doing that. Me and another volunteer. And I
can admit that it's in the rain. You be in the rain and in the sunshine and whatever it is, and you show up. You show up. You never deny that those days. You know, and you.
We try.
Yeah, well, do take try out of that because it's done, and you do it, and you do it well. You do it well. And the work has to be done, and you guys have taken it on to do it. Allah reward you.
Amin.
Allah reward you because these people that's less fortunate, they need this. You know, they don't have nowhere to live, nowhere to cook a hot meal, and you guys go out in I'd say the trenches, and you do the work. In places where some people don't even go.
No, they don't.
You know, they won't even go. And you guys put your hoods on when it's raining, and the umbrellas, whatever you do, and you get out there and you make it work for the less fortunate people. And we have favors of our Lord. You know, which one of your favors, your Lord, would you deny?
Right.
And we've denied for so long. You know, the favors of our Lord. You know, and the favors that we get now. We don't take it for granted, you know.
No, we can't.
We use what Allah God has given us to do. You know, we've been instructed to do this work. You know, this is not something that we come up with. We've been instructed to do it.
Right. That's yes.
And your organization does it so well. And you know, we admire you, and I give you the kudos. I mean,
kudos,
whatever it is up there. You know, and I love it. You know. I've seen you in motion and work, you know, and you're serious about it.
Yeah, it's you know, I have to say, Brother Amin, and I say this with all honesty, with no shame, that it's very selfish. It's very selfish. We are taught as Muslims that the best way to serve our Creator is to serve creation. And when people say to me, you know, they commend me and they admire the work that I do, I have to be honest. Like, I'm trying to get to heaven. And I was told that one of the best ways to be in service to my Creator is to serve His creation. And so, though others benefit from my work, I am the greatest beneficiary. You know, I think about it when I'm working with other organizations. Whenever I'm briefing volunteers who are about to go out with me, I remind them, we're not doing them a favor. They're doing us a favor. Because if not for them, we'd have no work.
Right. Yeah, right. Yeah. Those little kids that you give those backpacks to, I can just see the smile on their faces. And they receive the backpacks and the stuff that you guys give them. I can just see the smiles and the thank yous and this. Yeah.
You know, one of the things about our backpack giveaway, and I was asked again this year, why do we give tickets? Why do we give tickets? They come in, they sign up. There's no pre-registration required. They don't have to come with ID and proof of anything. And we give them tickets, like raffle tickets. And they sign up, they get a meal ticket, they get a snack ticket that gives them cotton candy and popcorn and other, whatever we have, because each year is different services. Sometimes there's haircuts, sometimes it's dentistry, it's different things. And one of the reasons is, and we have little games and art projects, what we think about similarly with the groceries is, if you're trying to preserve someone's human dignity, to have them stand in line for hours to receive whatever it is you're giving them isn't the most uplifting experience. You know, it's kind of demeaning. And so when it comes to our groceries, we deliver them to their doors, the family's doors. When it comes to the backpacks, we literally set up the backpack room similar to something like this, larger, and we have all the backpacks laid out. And they get to go through and they get to pick their backpack. So we call 5 at a time, and they get to play and eat cotton candy and all that until their numbers are called. And then 5 at a time will come in and they kind of go shopping. And they get to look at the different backpacks that we have, and they get to pick the one they want. And so it's kind of like a shopping experience versus, how old are you? Okay, here you go. How old are you? Okay, here you go. They get to actually play a part in the backpack. Yeah, you know, and so whenever one of the things, muid is an Arabic word which means to restore. And the reason we picked it was because we wanted to be a means to restore the things that have become void in our community. And compassion and treating people with dignity and self-respect has become void in our communities, you know, and we have this attitude when we're the givers that you should just be grateful. I shouldn't really, you know, why do I care about what kind of meat it is, or why do I care about, you know, the different things? Why does the quality of socks have to be this way? If we're giving away hoodies, why do I say absolutely no used? I don't, because your used and my used may be different. So it needs to be never before used socks, never before used hoodies, never before used backpacks. And because our we are determined to give people what we want to receive. And so whether it be a meal, whether it be a backpack, whether it be a hygiene kit, if I wouldn't want to receive it, then I don't want to give it. Similarly with the produce, there's many ways to get produce in the community service world. We purchase our produce. We raise funds, and the produce that we give away, we actually purchase from a produce company. Not because we have so much money or we have so many resources, but because we want to make sure that the produce that they receive are the produce coming out the front door, not the back door.
Right, that's right.
That if you can't sell it, then I shouldn't give it.
Right.
Is how we look at it.
And that's how it should be. If you don't eat, why should you give it somebody else to eat? Yeah, that's right on. That's good. Yeah, we need this. We need more of this. You know, we have a brother that was formerly incarcerated. He paroled down south to Southern California, and he started the food giveaway. He's doing that now in Southern California. He comes on Zoom every Wednesday, and he feeds the homeless, the less fortunate. And he's been doing it for a while now. And he has it. Oh my goodness! He feeds the homeless. Then he has the garden at the open.
Nice
garden. So they go around to the schools and they farm these gardens and different things. But he's doing outstanding work. I'm trying to get him up here so he can come on the show and tell they do down south.
Yeah, I would like to connect with him just to kind of get an idea of what he's doing and
Right.
see, you know, what we can mirror that he's doing and
Sure.
possibly what we may be able to do to enhance what he's doing.
So we're gonna get him and bring him up and he's gonna come and do a workshop in one of the houses. So
Nice.
bring him up and introduce you to him so you guys can have hand in glove and put it together what you guys do. You know, yeah. So you are an outstanding sister in our community.
Mashallah.
We appreciate you. We appreciate your work. Continue doing the work. Don't stop. We need more of it. You know, we need a kitchen.
We need a kitchen. So if anyone is looking at this and you have a space that's not being used and you'd like to donate it as an in-kind donation and write it off on your taxes, please do. If we are not in a position to pay large sums of money for a kitchen, but we are in a position to kind of offset the cost, make sure the PG&E is paid, and you know. But we really are looking to be able to maximize the dollars by cooking the food ourselves. I have my food management certificate, good for 5 years. I can be in any kitchen, run any kitchen. But it would maximize our dollars a little more if we didn't have to cater the meals.
Right.
If we were able to get our volunteers in there and cook them ourselves.
Put that money back into the kitchen.
Yes.
The foods.
Yes.
Yeah. So if anyone out in the audience, in the living rooms, in the bedrooms, wherever you are, have availability of a kitchen
In the Oakland, Berkeley.
Berkeley area that can be written off, tax write-offs.
And we're willing to certify it. We're willing to go in and do whatever needs to be done so that it can pass what environmental health requires. So, you know.
Yeah. So by all means, call the show, get in contact with me, and I will make it available that the sister can get directly with you and make it work, make it happen to this cause. This is a very serious cause. It's helping and saving lives. A lot of people, you know, we have families that don't have nowhere to live, don't have any food, you know, and this sister is coming on and she's making it happen in a large way, you know. Add her to your prayers, you know, she needs the prayers, you know, and just give what you have toward this organization. You know, this organization is a organization that's been going on for how many years? You say 7?
Mu'eed was founded in 1993.
Okay.
Our eating rights program, and just to clarify that, Mu'eed has a program called Eating Rights. Mu'eed is www.m as in Mary, U, E as in Edward, E as in Edward, D as in dog, .org. Mu'eed.org. Eating Rights is the actual food program that I said that kind of COVID kind of thrusted us into. And so that's the name of the program. And so if anyone wants to donate, they can go to our website and donate there. And one of the things that I wanted to say is that feeding the homeless was always the primary focus for me and for us as an organization. And the feeding of the elders came about just from some community members needing help with their elders. And then we saw a bigger need. And then when COVID hit and our elders became part of the vulnerable population, it really became apparent how important that is, in addition to the families. And I just wanna highlight that yes, the people who are unhoused need to be fed, but there's so many organizations that know that they're unhoused. So there's so many organizations, especially from October 15th until January 1st, in the holidays period, everybody's feeding everybody because it's that season, right? One of the populations that don't get looked at are those who have houses but still can't afford to eat. Those who have houses that still need supplements for their meals because things are expensive and they're struggling families. And that was one of the things someone asked me one time. They said, Amelah, how do you find the people that you serve? And I told them, I am one of the people that I serve. You know, I am that single parent. I am that family that's trying to make ends meet. And I know my community. I know the people in my community. And so I don't never, one of the things that I call them, and one of the things that I always say, we have access to these produce. You know, there's this organization that's providing hot meals and they're pretty good. Would you guys like to have, not, oh, I know you're in need, so we should, you know, but really knowing that we're a village and taking it to that level and looking out for each other and paying attention and knowing that this couple has 6 children. They probably could use some milk, you know, and not that they're lazy, not that they're not taking care of business, not that they're not hustling to get it done, but you got 6 children and a gallon of milk goes, you have a bowl of cereal, everybody, milk is gone. You know, we always can use eggs. We always can use fruits and vegetables. And so just, I guess the message that I would want to give is that we all can do this work. And it doesn't have to be on a large scale. But we know who our neighbors are. We know who our community members are. And if we know that sister or that brother, you know, he might go buy their child some shoes. You know, just look at their feet and say, and not in some kind of, oh, let me help you, but kind of like, you know, I got this gift certificate for a Foot Locker, and I was trying to figure out would this work for you? You know, but just really knowing that we are a village. We are a village, and this is work, but this is duty. You know what I mean? This is it's a work, and we call it work. But it's like, this is, what else are we doing if we're not looking out for each other, you know?
Exactly.
So,
exactly. Well, we've been instructed to do this work. We've been commanded to do this work. A lot of people, like I say, we don't look at the favors of our Lord, and this is a favor that's what we've been commanded to do this. A lot of people won't pick it up. You know, this sister in our organization has picked it up and is doing outstanding work. Continue doing the work, my sister. Don't stop. Don't stop.
Thank you. We appreciate the reminders and the encouragement, because sometimes you wonder, what are you doing?
Yeah, right. Yeah, a lot of times you wonder, what am I doing this for? You know, you're not doing it for you. You're doing it for your Lord.
Yes.
You know, so continue doing the work. And we want to thank everybody that's watching our show this evening. This show can be looked at on YouTube whenever you wish. Tomorrow, I'll put it on YouTube. It'll be on YouTube tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. And you can go to YouTube under the Wendell, Amin, James Show and look at all of our interviews that's been recorded on that YouTube station. And you can look at this. You can get our YouTube station, Zoom, whatever it is, on the show whenever you want to. If you haven't written it down, you can go on YouTube and record it and get it, write it down. And the sister just hollered out for help. You know, help the sister. Don't help the sister, help the people.
Help the people. And more than that, help yourself.
Exactly.
Help yourself, because whatever you do, in the Quran it says, who will give a favor to Allah? Who will give a goodly gift to their Creator? Right. And just imagine that that you could actually give the Creator a gift. Like, what does the Creator need from us?
Right.
Nothing.
Not a thing.
Not a thing. But in His mercy, He's given us the opportunity to give, and He promises to return it.
Right.
He promises that nothing but good can come from good. That's and right. So I encourage people, I encourage everyone, like, do your part. If it's just with your family, if it's a family member, if you have this homeless person that is in your neighborhood that you see all the time, find out what his name is, find out what her name is, and speak to him. Right. You know, right. and take them a snack every now and again, and take them a hygiene kit every now and again, because A tsunami could put us all in that situation. An earthquake could put us all in that situation, and we could have all kinds of money and credit cards and stashes here and stashes there. But if we can't get to any of it, we will be in that same position, hoping somebody bring us a nice sandwich and a bottle of water and maybe some clean socks, you know. So thank you. I appreciate. It took a minute, but I'm here and I'm grateful, and I want to give a shout out to you and your program and the work that you do and your invitation to others to share the work that they do and to reminders, because believers are reminders one of another, and your shows remind us of the work that people are doing. Your show reminds us how important it is to have support system for those coming home and reentering society. And your show reminds us how important it is to support organizations that are doing the work that serves the community. So it is a vehicle and a means and a tool to inform us and remind us. And so may you be rewarded for your reminders.
Well, I take and give all the credit to my Lord. Without my Lord, I wouldn't be. So I give all my credit to my Lord for allowing me to do this work, because it's work. And he gave me favor. And I'm here to accept the favor and return the favor of his word to my people of service. So with that, we want to thank you for coming on to the show tonight. And we want to thank the audience for paying attention and listening to the show. And as I said, this will be on YouTube. And you can look at it whenever you wish to look at any show that's been recorded on the Wendell, Amelah, and James show. So thank you for coming on tonight. And we'll be back on next week, Saturday night, 7 o'clock on Channel 29, religiously with prime time. See you then.
Peace be with you.